What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Form Check Friday with myself, Seth, and my co host.
I'm Yana.
I'm just glad that you're in the vlogs now, so people are probably a little bit more familiar with you.
Yeah.
But this is Miana, as she said.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't hate me.
Yeah, she's not that full of shit, but it makes it easier having two people running these, so I have a little bit someone to bounce ideas and ask questions to. But the whole point of these Form Check Friday videos is to go through some lifts with you so we can look at what is going on with the lift, so we can talk about what the lifter needs to do in order to put more weight on the bar. Because the biggest goal as a power lifter is to put more weight on your squat, your
Yeah.
bench, your deadlift
Get stronger.
without having things get sideways, without having things get jacked up, without having little injuries, nags, tweaks, whatever. And technique is not the only picture in terms of that. It is also going to be where are we strong, what needs work. And my whole philosophy on technical improvement is not just to cue the lifter to death. I don't want to just say, do this thing, do this thing, think this thing, think this thing, think this thing. I want to think about what movements we can get them to run outside of the main lift to help teach them to use the position they want to be in on the main lift more effectively, as well as make that position stronger so that if they can learn to take that sensation and carry it back into the main lift, they should be able to do it better, do it more repeatedly, versus just yelling at them to do the thing that they have no idea what to do. And in order to do that, something that I have set up that has been really, really, really cool is Team Activated, which is a community that I have built with the entire goal of making powerlifters better and making powerlifting coaching
Yeah.
better. And the sickest thing about the team is not just the fact that we have program app, not just the fact that everyone that's running the program app and listening is getting better. It's the fact that lifters can hop in here, post their training every single day, get feedback directly from me where I'm going through their lifts with them every single day on the same day so they can hear feedback similar to this, usually more in depth in the team than we get into an FCF. So they can then apply that to their next training session and get better. And we just chip away and continue to work until the lifter hits a PR or things change. We need to work on something else and we can dig into that further. But with that said, let's get into the actual FCFage here,
Yeah.
where we make a thread and ask people if they want to get cyberbullied on YouTube.
And we haven't seen these yet. You're going to get our live reactions.
I did test Steve's.
Okay.
I watched his bench unrack to make sure I had my framing right in the screen recording.
Okay. Cheater.
Not really cheater. I didn't fully see it.
Okay.
But we got Steve up first. He says, please be easy on him.
Oh. Well, maybe he hasn't seen this show before.
So what I will say about Steve is Steve's been in here for almost 2 years. Like he's been in since pretty much the very beginning.
Okay.
And for the last 6 months, it's been a lot of, dude, you're freaking rolling.
Okay.
So I'm expecting that there is not a ton of things going on. And after his recent meet, we did kind of make some tweaks with where we're going in bench direction because again, with where his bench was, we were hammering one direction. With where his bench showed up on the meet, it got better. But again, it's like you focus on one aspect of a lift, it gets better, it gets stronger. Eventually, you'll kind of need to shift focus and focus on something else to keep building. So I am curious to see how this is coming along. So we'll press play, press the full screen. Go back to the beginning for me, Anna.
You've already seen the unrack.
I've already seen the unrack. I'm cheating. Okay,
Honestly, it's not bad.
not bad.
My first thought looking at this is that I would like to see a harder stop, harder pause. It looks like he's kind of a little wiggly or like sinky a little bit at the very bottom. Or I think it's actually that like initial press off that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, he's
Kind of
letting her
looking
dip
at
a
it.
tiny, tiny, tiny bit before the reversal.
Yeah.
And I think that some of that too is if we're watching shoulder blades, I think this is kind of par for the course with this rack because it can't get super fine with the rack height
I saw
adjustment.
that. Yeah.
But watch the shoulder blades. We're a little bit protracty. And again, like this is not the end of the world because what I want you to notice is with the imperfect rack height, he does have to protract to clear the hooks. And I'd probably rather have this than a way too low on rack. And again, this is something that he's aware of. I'm just talking about it to talk about it. What I want to talk about here is how he is getting a little bit of over protract before he pulls out, but he's doing a really
It's a
good
really
job
of
of settling in after the unrack. So if you're someone on a power rack that doesn't have super tight hole spacing, like if we do have to over press to clear the hooks, make sure that we are settling
Yeah.
in, scooping rib cage up, and just being really assertive with that pull. And that is setting him up to at least be in a pretty good position. Now, as far as that little bit of bobble off of the chest goes, looking at lats, looking at armpits, looking at shoulder blades as much as we can see them with his black t-shirt, this looks pretty solid to me. What looks a little bit weird is if we're watching hands, you can kind of see that there's, again, the bobble isn't as much up and down as it is lateral.
Yeah. It's
I
weird.
think that a lot of that is needing to continue to refine the spread out into the bar. And what I mean when I'm saying spread is pulling bar apart is kind of like the primary cue I like to use, like trying to go this way. Or if pulling the bar apart doesn't make sense, I'd be thinking about bending the bar laterally out from you. If my hands are in frame, like this direction.
Yeah, they're in frame.
But what that's going to do for us is it's going to force the rear delts to kick on harder, so we're stabilizing from the backside, not forcing anterior bicep stability and making things potentially gross there. But it's also going to open up the door to have a stronger tricep push to shove the elbows through out of the bottom. So I just want to keep on refining that. And I'm not sure if he's running them today because I haven't, again, looked at the videos. But one thing we are doing to help him continue to refine that, or two things, these are his wide grips. We're also getting him to run reverse grip because that makes the spread really intuitive. And the wide grip, I think you can see that the unrack, arms being wider, it's going to make the arms relatively shorter. And you can see that he's having to get a little bit more awkward with that spread in. And what I'd be curious about with the wider grip is if dropping the J's down makes that a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm behind that. Because this one, it was more obvious that he had that like big,
Yes.
and he probably could afford to go lower on the wide grip.
Yes.
It might be a pain in the butt doing that in like the middle of a training session, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and again, like watching his right forearm, you can kind of see how it's like the spread tension. Being with the arm, like it's more apparent on the arm away from the camera. But with this wide grip, what I want the focus to be is, again, like not trying to. The groove is going to lengthen pec more, but I don't want to make the focus entirely pec. I just want to think like when we're here, we're punching apart. We're punching apart. We're spreading apart into the bottom to help catch with the triceps. And again, this is going to be a very pecky position, but if we can get more triceps in to help with that catch, I think it should help us. But again, I think the wide grip is, I mean, I already told him to do this for what's going on. So I think the wide grip is a very good move here, and that is why we're doing the wide grip. But what I want to add to the wide grip is a little bit more pulling the bar apart intent and really just trying to rip that sucker apart, spread with tries, spread with rear delts, and that should give us better carryover to a harder lockup on his competition bench.
Yes.
Ooh.
What's this?
Full screen.
Whoa. Does he have his feet anchored in?
No.
That's honestly kind of impressive that he's able to lean back that far with that weight.
This is the first time I've seen him doing this.
Are we programming this for him?
So I do have row variations of team programming, and I leave that up to the lifter a little bit. And I think that with like the cable row, I like the idea here. I like the positioning. I like the chest positioning. And again, this is reflective of the really good lat tension where he's going with it. What I don't like, he's not very fat. Well, he's not very fat. He's not very fat. That's the statement. That's the inaccurate for what I'm trying to describe.
Okay. Where are you going with this? What are you trying to say?
His back is stronger than he's fat. Back is stronger than he's heavy.
What?
His back is stronger than he's heavy.
Okay.
I think the limitation here
is that he like can't lean back for hard enough? Is that what you mean?
He's just gonna pull himself up.
Yeah.
Before we get to a point where he's gonna be loaded hard.
No,
enough.
I would 100% agree.
Looking at how hard the reps are.
Yeah.
What I would much rather see versus running this as any sort of like face up row is figuring out a way that we can get similar intent. Either, I think like perfect world, what I'd rather do if he wants to run a cable row here, and what I'd like better, flipping the bench 100%.
Around. I was going to say that.
Going face down.
Yes.
Dropping cable down to the bottom.
Yes.
Now, with this being relatively narrow and him missing spread too, if he does have the ability to do so, like what I would like to do in perfect world, what I get one of my other guys to do for similar intent is with like a prime bar, so getting the handles away from a bar, we can go chest supported, we can get more spread in, so we can load it heavier due to the chest support because we're not just lifting ourselves off the bench, we get better spread with the prime. Now, if he doesn't have access to anything like a prime handle, Like you could go with the hypertrophy influencer strategy and
Oh
like,
yeah.
have you seen the kids that like put like handles onto a normal lat pull down bar and they're pulling and they hit themselves in the face because it falls
Yes.
off? I don't want to do that. What I would rather do is just go single arm so we can get a little bit wider
Yes.
spread, so it is looking like it is more of a rear delt upper back type deal.
Yes.
So a little bit of flipping around modifications that I would be making on this guy to make it a bit more effective where we're
Yeah.
sitting on bench. And what I want to make sure that he's doing as well is with that bench and where it's going,
Yes.
some rear delt flies.
Absolutely.
And just crank him and like going single cable, grabbing the post so we're stable, and then just pulling into hard retraction, going
Yes.
through, trying to minimize shoulder motion as we're spreading apart. That will be really, really, really intuitive for better creating that spread. So I want to make sure we are adding some of those suckers into the picture.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I'm honestly just still flabbergasted by that row.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Laura Phelps will often get her lifters to run a reverse band bench row where they're putting a relatively heavy band, like reverse band of the power rack, rowing bar to chest. Like, I'm not saying that I don't like this, because again, this is very good for teaching lat intent. Like the lower version, what Steve's doing here, very good for teaching lat intent, but it's like Steve's too strong to just be making that a lat exercise.
No, absolutely.
And again, I know that he is doing other lat work,
Yeah.
but again, I'd rather see this modified so we can make a chest support, modified so we can get more of that spread that is missing, because his lats are solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
anyways, moving on to Truit.
Truit.
Yeah,
That's a sick name.
it is a sick name.
Yeah.
Young kid,
Okay.
training at a college gym.
Okay.
I'm so happy
Why?
because he started in here when he was living at home still this summer,
Okay.
and his gym in his small town looked horrendous to train in.
Okay. And now it's
Like it's like
school gym looks cool.
the worst commercial gym equipment on earth.
Oh yeah.
So now he's got good shit, and it's making his life so much easier, especially on bench. But deadlifts,
Can we make that bigger?
yes, just hold on.
Interesting.
This is another one where it has gotten so much prettier. There's still things we need to work on. And we got running stiffies, RDLs as secondary. A little more RDL intent here than stiff leg, which is, again, something that I recommended. But what I want to look at on the deadlift is it's a bad angle to see this. And I wish I had some of his old lifts in here. But aside from the pretension.
The pretension was exactly what I was looking at. But
Yes. Aside from the pretension, look at the shape of his back.
Yeah.
And just look at how he's finishing. Like, he's pretty good sacked, pretty good braced. Like, this is a huge improvement. What this used to look like is he would break off the floor and just, like, cat back.
Oh, okay.
Like, his leg drive would translate into just, like, rounding, like, not tipping forward and stripper deadlifting.
Just full cat back.
But
yeah.
full cat back, and then he'd get through and have to uncoil.
Okay.
Now, we still have a little bit of that going on. It's
Yes.
much more subtle than it was.
Okay.
And people are going to tell me I'm wrong here.
Okay.
People are going to tell me I'm wrong. This is going to be one where if I made an Instagram reel, I'd have like 30 people telling me I'm so stupid for saying this.
Okay.
But if you're rounding off the floor on a deadlift, you're going cat backed, and then you finish, you are not rounding because your back is weak.
Oh, 100%.
Well, people are going to argue that.
Oh.
Now, let's
I would argue that he has a strong fucking back for being able to do that.
So let's think about this.
Yeah.
If you are rounding off the floor on a deadlift, your back is now in a more compromised position. You're in this more compromised position, and then you can still finish and pull through.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about working spinal erectors, if you want to work your spinal erectors, how do you ask your spinal erectors to work? By flexing and then extending. If we are rounding off the floor, we are not rounding because the back is weak. We are rounding because your back is available to do work and your nervous system is smart enough to organize you into that position.
Yeah. You go through the path of least resistance.
You're going to where you are stronger.
Yeah.
And just trying to arch harder, it's going to make it weird because you're trying to fight where your body wants to go. and just yelling at someone to arch harder, get more neutral,
Yeah.
it's not going to solve the problem because it's not addressing the issue of why they're rounding. And again, I'm saying they're rounding because their back is strong enough to then go to this position and recover.
Yeah.
It's going to be the best strategy for where they are strong. But then what does that leave us with? What is the back rounding to make up for?
The legs.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. But in his case, if we're thinking about what was changing shape with the round, it wasn't like he wasn't like going legs straight rounding. It was like he was rounding to avoid extending his hips. And he was, as he was rounding and posteriorly tilting, that was letting him get a little bit more hip extension in.
Yeah.
So he's missing hip extension strength out of the bottom. He's compensating for that with lumbar. Mm-hmm. And what is cool here is his lockout is getting harder.
Yeah. Okay.
His lockout is getting harder right at the top in a very different way than it used to.
Okay.
And what's cool is, again, with him being in a much better stacked position, because the glutes are starting to catch up so he doesn't have to round right off the get-go. Again, he's a little bit round, but what is struggling to get through here, this is his glutes struggling to get through.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, where like sticking points and focus needs to shift a little bit. And what I want him doing now, because I started out with stiff legs to kind of just, again, like still help him with the back, because stiff leg is going to be in my head when I'm talking about stiff leg versus RDL. RDL, perfect hinge. Stiff leg, we allow some rounding in, and we have to have a little bit of spinal extension in there. The reason I wanted him to start with a stiff leg before going to a true RDL is so that he was letting his strong point still kind of be in there, just so it wasn't weird. Then we transitioned to RDL to make it a bit more hip specific because it is a more perfect hinge. And I think that this move to the RDL versus a stiff leg should clean up better where it is now.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked, and I'm glad that it's panning out the way that we wanted it to. And again, it's like one of those things where I've seen posts where their coach is saying that, you know, technique isn't a strength issue because technique is position, and position allows a muscle to work better. But it's like, if a muscle is not strong enough to work in the position, you can't just yell at someone over and over again and tell them to do better. And basically what I've been telling Truit this whole way through his deadlift is he was very self-conscious about his technique. And again, it's like, dude, you are where you are. All we got to do is do the right movements with the right intent, and it's going to clean up. And what I'm really happy with the more RDL-y, again, the lockout looks the exact same as where he's getting stuck right now. And the fact that the lockout looks the exact same as where he's getting stuck right now in the deadlift, because he's able to get so many reps contracting through that, it is going to build it. Another thing we brought in addition to RDL, is going to be a little more specific at the top end, is we're getting him to do Dimmel deadlifts, which is essentially a shorter range, more ballistic intent RDL, just so we can practice dropping these hips through, dropping these hips through, dropping these hips through. And I'm stoked. This is a solid pull. And the other thing to note too is that numbers haven't gotten exponentially higher. And if I'm thinking about a lifter that is very good with jacked up technique, I usually don't want to rework their technique if they are like already deadlifting 900 pounds and their 900-pound deadlift looks like a shit show. Yeah. If they're that strong already, rebuilding probably isn't worth it. We want to take a slower route. Yeah. If a lifter is, again, he's a young kid, he's brand new, if we can make it more efficient early versus just letting it be a shit show,
the dividends
that will pay off way bigger in the long run. And with it not being like blowing up numbers wise, but seeing the efficiency come in, what we got to think about is we're trying to get him to be in a more efficient position long term, but his old position, although less efficient, he was stronger there because it let him, cheat the hips with the back. And my whole kind of take is that I would rather have less number progression for a few months so that we can then develop the efficient position. Now that it is developing, as he keeps bringing up the RDLs, as he keeps bringing up the Dimmels, as he keeps bringing up the butt cheeks, numbers are going to go where they need to go, and this is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great to hear then. Yeah. So, and he's in a perfect position then. How old is he, like 19?
Yeah, I think 19.
That's honestly the perfect age to be doing this. Because he's not going to have to, because if he continues doing it like with shitty technique, then he's going to be a 30-year-old powerlifter who's never deadlifted 500 pounds.
Yes.
Like.
Maybe not that bad.
Maybe not that bad, but he'll be hurting if he doesn't. But he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, last one of the day. We got Aaron here. Would love to get cyberbullied.
He would love to. I can't read. So what does it say?
Would love to get cyberbullied. Misread the program for the deadlifts.
Rude.
Thought it was another deficit triple because in the team program we read a deficit triple last week. Went up 10 kilos from last week and left it at 2 because it felt pretty grindy. Watched the video and looked easy, so went back for another single. Then read the program and realized it was already a single. So I'd say happy accident in this regard.
Yeah, amazing.
Happy accident because by not reading the program, he kind of almost followed the program, although, you know, maybe was a little bit more aggressive with the last warm-up that he should have been.
Yeah, that's funny. He basically just gave himself like a weird feeler set.
Yep. Oh, he's got a speed squats in here first, though.
Oh.
Now, this is someone, I got an AMA today asking about consistency and unrack technique. And this is someone that we have been chipping away at to get the unrack more better.
Okay, what are you trying to work on?
Well, first thing is there was no unrack strategy.
Oh, perfect.
There is some now.
No, there definitely is.
There definitely is. And
That's
in general, like the biggest thing I'm looking for a squat unrack is that you know that we need to set your upper back. You know that you need to set your brace. But most lifters wait until the walkout is over before they think about either of those things.
Yes.
And therefore, the bar is going to feel really heavy on the pick.
Yes.
It's going to feel really heavy through the walkout. And then, even though they're kind of getting collected, they're not going to be as well collected as they could be before the bar comes out. Now, I think with this, I like how aggressive he is at using the bar to lever him in. Like on combo rack, I'm okay if it picks up. I like how he is taking the time to pack everything in and get set. I think that the only thing is now that he is getting less of a shruggy shrug and loosey-goosey slamming into the bar on the pick, I think we can drop the rack height down one hole. I know he already did drop it
looks
one,
too high.
but I think we can drop it another. And that should, again, let him get a little bit tighter, let him get more locked in. And for the squat itself, I'm pretty okay here. Again, like braces collected. We're not having any weird deviation anywhere, no leaks. I think that the only thing that, again, this is nitpicking beyond nitpicking, but it's a nitpick worth nitpicking.
Elbows.
Watch at the top. How he lets off.
Oh.
He lets off the upper back at the top.
Okay.
And again, that's not the end of the world, but if we are making the goal to be as well braced as we can, I'm not saying that we need to over tension, over crank.
No.
But I would just prefer to not have it let off, because if we don't let off, we don't have to recollect. And if we don't have to recollect, we should be better collected. So I'm pretty good with this. I just think I want to see the rack height dropped a little bit. And if we're thinking about a lifter trying to make low bar work for them, if we're thinking about low bar versus high bar, the high bar shelf, like on top of your traps, is going to be a pretty horizontal shelf.
Yes.
You can be right upright, the bar ain't going to roll. A lot of lifters struggle with low bar, on the unrack especially, because the shelf is going to be more backwards angled. It's going to feel like the bar has more availability to roll with your shoulders. And then that's why you see a lot of lifters when they're starting low bar, they're like unracking all shrugged up and like this to try to horizontal that shelf out. But if we drop the rack height lower, pick with a little bit of torso angle, we can let that torso angle flatten the shelf out, make it easier to then get the upper back tight, keep the upper back tight, while ensuring the bar doesn't want to roll off. So don't be afraid to pick with a little bit of torso angle. Obviously, you don't want to be picking so like we're in a good morning, but try to find the sweet spot where you have enough torso angle that you can be totally locked in, have the head pulled back, have the bar pulled down into you, and not feel like it's going to roll off. And it will work better, and then you'll just be able to get the squat better because you won't have to swing as hard to get back. But that is why lower rack height can be a very good thing for a low bar squat. Now, with these deficit arenos, see what's going on here. I'm pretty okay with this.
I don't hate it. There's a lot going on with his head as he's going, is my only thing. Actually, there's less than I thought. I'm being too nitpicky today.
You don't need to start doing for these Form Check Fridays.
What?
Instead of like looking for like lift secondary accessories so we can talk about what they're doing for it.
Yeah.
I need more comparisons.
Yes. Like compare this to
his last week triple.
Yeah, is this a lot better?
It is a lot better collected, and the bar is doing a lot less wavering in and out. Like I still think he was a little bit late on the lat set. Like I'm gonna slow the video down.
Ooh.
Speed, 0.5.
Okay.
See, this is slow enough. But I want you looking like right around shoulder blade area where lat's going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Just below shoulder blade. Now watch, traps are pushing up before that really kicks on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's already pulling on the bar before he's pulling himself into the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to do to clean up that little bit of, tiny bit of it kicking away on initiation is we just need to be mindful of when we are wedging in, making sure that as he's pumping up, he's following the pump with trying to use the lats to then lever him in towards and enhance the wedge. And that should ensure the bar has a better chance of translating straight up as we are pushing through. But I'm pretty damn stoked with how this shaped up. Now, the other thing that I'd be thinking about too is if just trying to find it when the hips are high is not working, when he's going down to the bar, a potential strategy, because he's pretty reach forward, he's pretty protracted, scaps in a good position here. But for lifters that are really struggling with figuring out how to get it after the wedge, what I want to do here is when they're in that protracted reach, like think about just trying to pull humerus towards rib cage in this position, get a little bit of lat before they're even on it. And then if they have it before they're even on it, they don't have to search for it as hard once the bar is in their hands. Second, we got more of a true stiffy. And again, stiff leg versus RDL. A little bit of rounding in the picture.
Yeah.
An imperfect hinge. But again, I think for most deadlifters, if it is not a pure hip strength deficit, incorporating some spine will be better for deadlift carryover. And that's again like why I generally like a stiff leg better as a deadlift builder than RDL, unless we are looking at something very specifically hip deficient. Now, to help with the head position, what I want to be thinking about here is chin down, head straight back versus trying to look up.
Yes.
That's going to be number one thing that I think should help carry into the deadlift. And number two, with that missing lat intent, what I think will help us out there is he's setting up pretty like arms hanging straight down, right? Like his arms are straight out in front of him, straight line from shoulder to floor. Which means that he's not putting himself in a position where the lats really need to work. So on a stiff leg, what I like to do to force myself to find more lat is I try to get the bar closer to my shins. And I'm not really changing anything up top to get the bar closer to the shins. I'm just trying to have my lats pulling the bar in towards me. And that is going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to let me be an asshole and cheat because the bar being closer means the moment under the hip is shorter, so I can put more weight on the bar so you look cooler on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you are getting more lat with that.
Yes.
And number two, if we're incorporating that lat, it's going to help with the overall wedge situation. And the other thing too is if the bar is closer to the shins, it should prevent him from going this little bit knee forward that he's getting on some of the reps. Not all of them, but you kind of see his knees are drifting forward. If the bar is closer to the shins and we're just levering hips through the bar with the bar closer, he's not going to be able to go as knee forward, and he's going to keep it from turning into a little bit more quad than we'd want on a stiff leg.
Yeah.
But refinements. And again, this is something that's cool because he's, I think, 6 weeks into being in the team now.
Oh, okay.
And he started out with some low back funk.
And it's gone.
And he's doing stiff legs relatively well. So
let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Anyways, that is it for our Form Check Friday this week. And hopefully you learned something from this.
Yeah.
If you feel like your lifts are a mess and you don't know what to do, you're not making progress, you don't know which way or the other to go, hit the link, join the team. I want to help you get better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's
get better.
We'll see you in the team. Bye. Should we make a thumbnail?
Do I look serious? I'm picking my nose.
Oh, no. What else should I do? Should I laugh at them? Are we going to leave this in?
Yes.
Oh, no.